Welcome to A Voice from Underground. My name is Roy Meredith, your guide on this journey. I also once worked underground at this site. We'll get moving soon, but first let me give you a short introduction. You should be standing on the side of Father Dusky Road. On your left is Maesteg Comprehensive School. Maesteg Training Centre once located beneath where the school is now. This is where the young miners will get their first introduction into life working underground. I myself started at Maesteg Training Centre on the 1st of January 1962 before going on to spend much of my working life in the very landscape that we will be walking through today. So this walk will also lead you through the landscape of memory, through the memory of a man, through the memory of a valley. These mines have closed, and the miners' songs, the shouts, the laughter may have faded away, but the memories still swirl in the air here, just like the mounting mist. We will hear some of the history of the mining in this valley and some of the stories that go with it. But this walk is also about connections, the connection between the community and industrial heritage, the connection between the people and the place. It's also about connections over vast periods of time. How primeval swamp forests millions of years ago eventually became coal, laid in the ground for unimaginable periods of time before finally re-emerging to shape the lives of a community and the life of a valley. Indeed, these primeval forests becoming coal would eventually go on to play part in reshaping the entire world through the Industrial Revolution and beyond. The site has been important for industrial heritage for almost 200 years, from the 1800s through until 1889 when the collieries closed. The earliest coal mining activity here was mostly small mines, holes in the ground, bell pits. It was a hard and often dangerous way of life. The first recorded death related to coal was in 1862, when a man called Henry John was buried in a collapse on the 22nd of January. It took 14 days to dig him out of the ground to recover the body. This method of working was a bell pit, where they sunk a simple hole in the ground and worked the coal from around the edges of the hole until either the air turned foul or the roof threatened to cave in. A roof collapse was exactly how poor Henry John got buried. Now let's continue making our way up the path that will lead us to the brow of the hill. At the summit we will meet the keeper of the collieries, the symbol of the spirit of Llinvi itself. Look around you. These views over the valleys are as timeless as mounting mist. Here, at the old Carnan Colliery, where once the miners walked and worked, new life is beginning to blossom. Here, the memories of the past mingle with the green shoots of the future. Everything you see here is connected, from the black coal laid down by ancient seas to the leaves of the newly planted trees. I am the keeper of the collieries. I am men who toil through rock and mud, for coal as black as dragon's blood. I am the days and halls of stone, the hearths and hearts that call them home. In long closed shafts below these hills, their picks and laughter echo still. I am blistered hands with carvings carved, by arms so strong they've left mountains scarred. Now a new generation's blistered hands are planting hopes and greening lands. I am flower and fruit in the orchard trees, the wings of birds and returning bees. I am a fledgling forest growing strong, a new verse in a valley song, old as coal and fresh as summer rain. I am the spirit of Llinvi, born again. Coal burns because it's largely made up of solid carbon. This carbon was once alive long ago, and this valley was once not a valley at all, but part of a large, wide coastal plain, over 300 million years ago. Hard to picture now, I know, but try if you can. This flat coastal plain was marshy and swampy, with remnants of more ancient seas stretching for miles across the landscape. And in those swamps grew forests, but not like any forest we could recognize today. These trees in this forest were enormous versions of plants we now know as horsetail fern or club mosses. Other vegetation would have thrived throughout, making this an imperishable swampy ecosystem. When these plants died and fell into the water, they would quickly become covered with layers of silt and turn to peat, and as more plant matter built up over the hundreds, thousands and millions of years. And as the millions of years rolled by, this layer was compacted by the weight of the land above, compacted by the change in landscape and fossilized by time. Those ancient ecosystems were buried in the darkness for millennia, since before the age of the dinosaurs, and those little lumps of coal you find scattered about here would have lain in the darkness beneath our feet. While in the world above, the ages rolled past. Dinosaurs evolved and roamed the earth for millions of years until the asteroid struck. Then mammals in turn would come to dominate the planet. And for millions of years later, some of those mammals evolved to become men and women. And all the while that coal waits, held fast in the dark of the ground, till one day a pickaxe strikes and the glow of a mindless lamp falls upon that coal. Those ancient ecosystems and plants, which once thrived in a much different, younger earth, now emerge once more, this time transformed as coal, and they in turn will go on to transform the entire world. Think how everything is connected across the vast epochs of time. Of all the lives of the people in this valley are directly connected to the forests and ecosystems that flourished here 300 million years ago. And think of how those ancient and alien-looking forests would sleep in the ground over all that time before re-emerging and powering the Industrial Revolution. It would also, of course, be behind the emergence of a unique community and a culture, the life of the Welsh Mining Valley.